Hello everyone, happy December 1st. I am here in Kiawah Island with some friends, and I haven't had an opportunity really to talk with you or update you until today, but I've been stitching. I've had some opportunities to stitch in the afternoon while everybody's just kind of hanging out. We're cooking supper and that sort of thing. And in the morning, I'm usually the first one up, and I can stitch some in the morning, but I haven't been this trip. I think the beach has invigorated some people and they've gotten up very early. But here's my stitching progress over the last few days. I worked on my Christmas sentiments to finish up my 8th animal adventure. And I am so happy to share with you what I got done. I did over 300 stitches. I did about 380, and this is where I got to. I had the tree done up through the green part of the tree. So what I did were the two birds, the little green tinsel that they're putting on the tree that rolls down the side here. I did these white snowflakes on this side of the tree, and then I did the pot there, the base of the little flowers that are in the middle. So next time I'm hoping to get that middle tree done. Oh, Candy asked me recently, was I going to put the red stitches in the middle of these circles, because there's 4 red stitches and a bead, and I told her I was actually waiting to see if I wanted to put beads for all of it, the red and the one in the middle. So I haven't decided, because I've got to try them, see how they look, and then I'll let you know. Sorry, I'm having to turn because I'm sitting on the side of our bed, and that's what I'm using to put all my things on. Well, for 2 days now, I have been working on one of my projects. It hasn't been for a prompt. It was just because it's what I wanted to stitch to the end of the month. And so on the 29th and 30th, I stitched on Teresa Kogut's Joyful Scene. I wanted to make some progress on this one. And so I did. I stitched 722 stitches on this over the last 2 days. And this is where I got to. I think it's coming along really, really well. So I had, last time you saw it, I had stitched that house, and I only had Santa's beard down to his beard done. So I went in here and got all of the inside stitching, all of the 1 and 2 and 3 here and there and yonder stitches for the reef and the star and his tie and his coat. I haven't done his hands yet because I didn't have black in my bag. I don't know how it got out of there, but because I used it up here. But anyway, it's now I'm leaving it there because I have a stitching meetup coming up on December 10th, and that is going to be perfect stitching for a stitching meetup, and we're going to have sort of a party that day because it's December. But I hope you like it. I think it's looking really, really good. So that's where I got to on my Joyful Scene, and that's the stitching I've been able to do so far. Today, if I get the stitch, I'm hoping to stitch on my new start that I had made for my Be Thankful. I started It's Spring Fever to get the F, and I'm doing it 1/1 on 32 count, and it's lovely. And so I brought it with me so I could get a little more work on it if I have a chance. So that will be what I do next if I get to stitch. Today is going to be our day to go out to eat. We've been cooking here the whole time, eating lunch here the whole time. We've been to the beach. We've been on a shopping trip. And now tonight, I think it's just we're going to go out to a really nice restaurant. I don't know what they'll wind up wanting to do today if it's not raining, because it rained all day yesterday. That's when we went shopping. If it's not raining, I think there's a group of us going back to the beach. But whatever we do, we'll have a good time. And if I get a stitch, I'll come back and share it with you. Happy stitching, everybody. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. It is December the 3rd. It's a Saturday, and we have just gotten back in town last evening. Picked up Coco on our way in from our vacation with friends in South Carolina. I decided today to pick up one of my projects that I had been working on right before I left, but in my animal adventures this month, December, I swapped out a piece I finished for Kringles. And so Kringles is one of my animal adventures now. So today I put 304 stitches in it. I finished up the rest of that one color in this section at the bottom, and then I came over here and did this window. So that was 304 stitches, and I stopped to record that for my animal adventure. I may come back to this and do more animal adventures on it later in the month. Probably will, because I put it in Animal Adventures to help me try to get that rooftop done by the end of the year. I really would like to have it done. And I am now not even quite halfway there, so it's going to have a lot of work. I thought that I would take a quick moment and talk with you a little bit about my record keeping and planning, because I get questions about it. So since November has just ended, here is my November book of days, and I will show you how I've been using it. I write in each day what I stitch and how many stitches. Over here I've written the acrostics that I'm working on, and as I get them I put a little sticker next to it to show me it's done. And then I will keep encouraging notes or little notes to remind me of something on the page, and I've put 2 puppy dogs on every month. These were precious stickers I got, and so I've got 2 puppy dogs on each month so far. Now I've got December ready to go, and the color scheme is a little different. It's a really bright lime green and an orange red, but I had quite a few stickers in those colors. And this is what my stickers look like. They're like this. Got them out of a book at Joann's. So this is my final month for this calendar. So I've done really well. I've kept up with it. See, there's a month before it was all black and gold. So this has been very helpful. One of the ladies that was with me in South Carolina is a junk journaler, and she makes her own cards, and she does a lot of paper crafting, and she loved my calendar. She was having fun with it. She was showing me different stickers that she had at home that she could share with me from next year. So I just wanted to, it's pretty worn. Look, it's really, you can tell I've been using it. The binding is crinkled, and it's really worn. So let's look ahead to December. What's my December gonna look like? Well, in addition to being crazy busy, I have some crazy goals for December. I may not make them all, but that's okay. I am gonna try anyway. So I am participating in the usual cast of characters. I am participating in the monthly, the magazine monthly challenge, and the acrostic for that this month is Twinkle. And so I've identified what I'm going to use for Twinkle, and today Kringles was one of them. And so now I have completed one of those so far this month. My animal adventures, you know, we have to search for 8 animals every month, and they release what the animals are at the beginning of the month. And then we have a category of how many stitches we want to participate in. And so I try to do 300 on those. I may not get to do 300 on all of them this month because of how much craziness is going on. But today I was able to get 304 for Kringles. So the first one's met so far this month. And then my acrostic for 24 hours of cross stitch is huge, and I don't have a pretty printout of that, but I have it where I jotted it down looking at it in South Carolina when it was released, when Jen released it. I went on Facebook and I grabbed it real quick, and I put down you know, here's what I think I'm going to do next to it. And so Spring Fever, Spring Fever was a new start I did for part of an acrostic last month. And so I put it for the F in Gift Your Stitches, which is the acrostic and 24 hours across stitch for December. So I have met the F in gift with It's Spring Fever that I worked on December 1st and 2nd. So I got that done. So those are the usual cast of characters. You're used to seeing those. But I got a couple more. December is a fun time because people do extra things. And one of the extra things I'm doing in one of the Facebook groups, this is the one that's the Daily 30 group run by Carrie Pickering. It is a closed group because they give prizes. You earn prizes. And so they limit it to 200. Now, they just recently opened it up for membership. And, you know, people were able to nominate others that wanted to be in the group, that want to work with prompts. And so I don't know if it's filled yet or not, but if it's not, give it a whirl. You know, go and look it up. I'm trying to remember the exact name. I'll put it down in the drop down below. But I think the last I looked, they only had one opening left, but it doesn't hurt to check. But the cookie cutter challenge is, oh, it's a great one. It's stitch on a project, identify an item in the project that you're working on. It doesn't have to be what you're stitching, but it has to be on the project. That could be a cookie cutter. And it doesn't have to be traditional shapes. It could be anything you decide that you would think you could make a cookie cutter out of it. So when I was stitching on It's Spring Fever on December 1st and 2nd, I was actually working on that bird, and I went ahead and counted it as one of my cookie cutters. So the cookie cutter challenge has 4 levels, and the levels equate to number of stitches. So level 1 is 200 stitches, level 2 is 300 stitches per project, level 3 is 400, and level 4 is 500. And there are also the number of these you can do for each level. You can get 15 at level 1. You can identify 5 cookie cutters at level 2. You can do 3 at level 3 and only 1 at level 4. So that's an extra that I'm doing. And I'm only doing it after I've done kind of other things. I'm kind of checking to see, will this count for that too? Of course, it's in the same Facebook group as my animal adventure, so they can't count for the same. So I would have to stitch another 100 stitches on something, you know, that if I had already worked on it for animal adventures. But anyway, I did my usual tracking device. I put down my acrostics here and what I was going to stitch for it. And then I put my whips, and I'm having to split the columns now and turn them sideways because I'm doing so many. But you can see this is what how each one is being done. And today I chose to work on Kringles because it had 3 different prompts that I was going to meet when I stitched it. And I just did my usual stitch the highest number that you need, and that will meet it for all of them. And so that's what I did. So looking at that, the next thing I should stitch on, if I'm doing it by what gets multiple hits for me, is a joyful scene. But I'm going to save that for next Saturday because I have done prep stitching for the meetup. I have outlined the rest of Santa's coat and left it unstitched because it's just fill in. The whole rest of the coat is fill in. And that's perfect stitching for when I'm at the get together. So I won't be doing that today. But that's how I got it organized, got myself ready. Now, there's another fun thing coming up in January. And because Caroline from the Magazine Monthly Challenge group is a planner, and her co-chair of that group, or co-admin Robin, I must also be a planner because they love to release things a little bit before the end of the month, and I'm so glad they do that. I really enjoy getting a chance to think about it maybe draft what I'm going to do and then have a few days to let it gel and see, oh, what was I thinking, and I can change things up. So I have printed off the list of prompts because they're doing another form of bingo. They call it Bringo because it's in January and it's cold outside. But they give us prompts that are descriptions of things, like your smallest whip, your oldest whip, your whip or new start that's part of a series, or a whip or new start that reminds you of your childhood, a whip or new start that reminds you of somewhere you'd like to travel. So I've gone through there today. I've worked on it at different times because you can see I have a different color of ink pen depending on where I'm sitting. And I filled in a potential answer for each one. Now I'm going to let it rest and I'll come back to it and see if I want to change anything. And then once I know I have that ready to go, sometime in the month of December, I will randomly assign those numbers to my Bringo board. So just a bingo board. And I will put my numbers 1 through 25 randomly in here. I'll either use random number generator, or I will start like at the top and the bottom, go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, something different or unique to that. And I'll fill out my Bringo board and have it ready for January. In Bringo, you only have to stitch 100 stitches to meet what you're doing. And so it's just a quick, easy way for you to say, I want to touch this 25 whips, and you can put them all on there. Or you can say, I want to get a bunch of stitches done on a full coverage. I want 2,500 stitches. So you do 100 stitches for each one. You answer it, but it has to fit the prompt. But, you can be creative and fit things quite easily, usually. So sorry to have so much talking, but I've been doing a lot of planning and working. It's that time of the month and it's that time of the year to look at that. So I've got my whip go board planned already, and I've got everything pulled over there for it. And on my Bringo, I had to have 2 magazine projects, and they could be, one had to be a new start and one could be a new start. So I have 2 new starts to share with you in January that are coming out of magazines that I hadn't planned on doing. So that's going to be fun. Well, I'm going to let you get back to what other things you might be doing, and I hope you're stitching while you're watching. But in the meantime, until I have something else to share with you, happy stitching. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is December the 4th. It is Sunday. We helped our son move to a new home that he is renting with a couple of roommates, and he's very excited about it. It's a house, not an apartment, and they're moving in, each of them, from their various apartments. And so my son came here today to pick up a few things that he had been storing here because he was in a single studio apartment and he couldn't fit everything in there. So he got a little bit more today. And we had lunch together while he visited, and that was just delightful. And then we went to his house to see where he's going to be living, and saw his 2 roommates. We've met them before, but we saw them again and got to say hi and see everything. And we came home and I got to stitch. So I got to see my son, and I did mention to my son today that one of the comments I got on my last video where I showed his picture in his winter coat that he could get back into, I had a very sweet comment from a lady who has been inspired and has made a tough decision to have the surgery that my son had, or a similar surgery. I'm not sure if she's getting the exact same one or not. She didn't say. But she said he was an inspiration to her. And I shared that with my son today, and it really touched him. So thank you for sharing that with me. And he is very, very happy that you are going forward. And he actually shared with me today that he has lost 170 pounds. Last I had checked with him, it was at 152. And I kept telling him, I think you look thinner. You just look thinner to me. And he kept saying, I don't know, I'm still right in there. He hadn't really been weighing very much. So he was pretty tickled today when he told me he's lost 170 pounds. That's pretty awesome. So this afternoon, I got to stitch. And I know that's what you're here for, but thanks for letting me share that with you. So today I pulled out my Christmas, my Stitcher's 12 Days of Christmas by Sue Hillis, because I could use this for two things. And I was kind of late getting started stitching, and I wanted something kind of easy for my brain to do. So I didn't want to go back and work on nativity with one overrun stitching or anything like that. So I pulled this out. And when you last saw it, I had stitched the lettering up here that says 12 pairs of gingers, but I hadn't done anything but the lettering right there. So today, my goal was to stitch the scissors and finish that little verse. So I did just that. I think it's lovely. I even backstitched it. I'm backstitching as I go. And so that was great. And the fact that I did that and backstitched everything, I actually got 388 stitches in this today. And so that was more than I needed for the prompt I was going for. So which prompt was that? Well, it was the one that's new that I haven't done before. It's a December one in the Daily 30 group, and it's called the Cookie Cutter Challenge. And I'm on level 1. You have to do 15 cookies before you can move on to the next level. And you have to stitch 200 stitches for each cookie. So this completed my second cookie because my first one was completed the other day, and it was a bird, if you recall. So this was a pair of scissors as a cookie cutter. So I did that. And then, of course, it was in the acrostic for 24 hours of cross stitch. It was one of the T's in the words, gift your stitches. So it was in the first T in the word stitches. And it stood for Stitcher's 12 days. I spelled out the word 12 and used that T for that. And so I got that done. So now I've done 3 of those 16 letters in that for this month. So that's my stitching for today. I hope that you like it. I've got a movie to go up hopefully today before I go to bed. It's saving and then uploading and all that stuff. It takes forever. And I was going to come up here and video my Christmas tree and add it to it, but I had already started saving it when I realized that I hadn't done that yet. So I'll do that. I'll put that in this one, and then you can see the extra Christmas tree up here in my stitching room. It's the same one I had last year. It's a white tree, and I have the Advent animals on it. But I just think that really looks good together. So that's what I did. Well, we put up a couple of more pictures in the house today too. We put up my 12 Days of Christmas wall hanging that I've used before, and I thought of Pat. Her husband made that for me, the custom bell pull, CNC custom bell pull. And I just, my heart just went out to you, Pat. It's going to be your first Christmas without your husband, and I'm so very sorry for your loss again, and just thinking of you. And I will think of him and you every time I put that up every year. So, but it went up today, and it looks lovely, and I'll try to remember to grab a picture of that as well. I hope you get a lot of stitching time as well, and I'll talk to you very soon. Until then, happy stitching. And here we have my little tree in my craft room with my Advent animals on there. And in case you're new and haven't seen this one, I stitched them and placed them into a square ornament, and I used this beautiful ombre red fabric that has, you may not be able to see it, it's got gold sparkles in it and little snowflakes on it. But I use that for the backing of each of these. Put little white pom-poms around for the trim, and I beaded hangers. You can see that one there, right here, for each of them. And I used the leftover fabric, which I bought extra so I would have enough, to wrap the bottom of the tree like a tree skirt. And it does light up. I don't have it plugged in this morning. I just walked into the craft room. But here you have what is the primary decorations in my stitching room. That basket there are my Whip Go starts and my 2 Bringo starts for next year. And over here is one of my Christmas pieces, Let It Snow. Of course, it's more winter than Christmas. I apologize for the poor lighting, but this part of my haul up here in my craft room doesn't have a light. But this is where I store some of my pieces that I haven't had room to put up downstairs. So here's my I'll Be Home for Christmas. It was a Glendon place. I had to think. It was a Glendon place that was gifted to me by my friend Glow, and I stitched it. And then I've got a trio of these mice. There's one, and I've got 2 more on the other side of my Hello Winter. Mice in the kitchen, and then they're in the coffee cup, and then there's my Sue Hillis spool tree. So these are the ones that I have up here to enjoy, rather than being downstairs. Here's my 12 Days of Christmas wall hanging. We have it right in the front lobby, next to the cuckoo clock. It was in the living room last year above the TV, but I didn't want to have to climb around the TV and put it up on the wall this year, so I felt like this would be a much better location for it. And we're enjoying it. I made this a couple of years back, several probably by now, but it was out of a magazine, so I enjoyed it very much. Hi everyone, welcome back. It is December the 5th. It is a Monday, and I am here to give you a stitching update for today. I pulled out Halloween Quaker today. I had a prompt to work on in 24 hours of cross stitch. It was one motif on Halloween Quaker. And then I also wanted to get another cookie cutter, which is 200 stitches. So I thought, well, what better cookie cutter than a pumpkin? So you see the little pumpkin there. So I stitched these two, this pumpkin and the shadow of a pumpkin, and that little tiny motif underneath the pumpkin to give me 216 stitches today on my Halloween Quaker. So here you have it. Isn't that lovely? I avoided this last time because I felt it was too small, and I went up here and did this one. But when I only needed 200 stitches, I thought, oh, perfect. So I did this and the smaller one, and I got more than I needed with the 216, but it helped me meet 2 prompts today. So I'm really excited about that. I'm enjoying the cookie cutter challenge. I have tried to use most of my whips this month in my 24 hours of cross stitch across stick, and then with my magazine monthly across stick, which is why you're not seeing both of them get marked out at the same time, because I spread them out a little bit, trying to get more of my whips in here. So that's one of them. And it meant 2 prompts, which was awesome. So I'm really happy about that. I did a little finishing today. I finished my exchange piece for our stitching meetup this Saturday, and I'm not going to show it yet. I'll wait till after it's exchanged on Saturday before I will film it, or before I put it in here. But I will show you what I did. I took something I recently stitched this year, and I knew exactly how I wanted to finish it. And then when we decided to do an exchange Saturday, I thought that is the perfect exchange. I may have to stitch it again because I liked it so much. Anyway, I hope you've had a great Monday, a great start to your week. I have. I had a wonderful experience today. I have been feeling like I've had difficulty hearing in crowded restaurants, or even hearing my husband talk to me around the house. I can't seem to hear what he's saying very well. So I checked with my doctor and got a referral, and today I saw an audiologist, and I am happy, very happy to say that all of my hearing is within normal range. In fact, it's really good. And my word recognition of being able to hear what is actually being said to me was really high. And so I talked to the audiologist about it, and she said what I'm experiencing is probably more of when I can't hear my husband speaking to me well, he's looking in a different direction or looking away from me when he's walking somewhere or playing with the dog. And so we have to make effort to make sure he's facing in a direction where the voice is coming to me, so I hear it. She said it's quite normal and happens quite a bit, but I hadn't been aware of it, I guess. But the good news is my hearing is fine, and I don't need to do anything to correct it. And so, clean bill of health there, which is great. Of course, now my husband says I'm just not listening. He's teasing. But anyway, it was good to get that baseline anyway. And so I just want to remind you to take care of yourself. I think if COVID taught us anything, one of the things it taught me was to take really good care of myself and make sure I'm as healthy as I can be. And I think that's important, because you never know what you're going to run into, you know. All right, well, we're going to be leaving here in just a little bit to go to our choir practice, our last choir practice before dress rehearsal. I've started sporting my Christmas wear today. It is cold here today. It was only going to get up to be about 49 or 53 degrees, somewhere in there. So it's great sweater weather here. And I really enjoy Christmas sweaters. And so I put one on today, and actually got a compliment on it when I went to get my hearing checked. The lady there, the receptionist there, liked my Christmas sweater. So I'm tickled that she did. I hope you've had, as I said, a great start to the week. And whatever you may be working on, whether it's seasonal, holiday, or if you're a full coverage person and you're just trying to hit your goals, good luck to you, and enjoy every stitch. Good night. Good morning, everyone. I am doing a special little presentation today. My first berry finish. It's not perfect, but it's okay. I hope to improve on them as I go. But I stitched this for an exchange with my stitching meetup group here in Gainesville. And Saturday I will be gifting this to someone. We don't know who. It's a blind thing. So I stitched the Believe Berry by Erica Michaels. This is the Santa. You saw that FO a while back, and I made my first berry, and I'm fine with the stitching part as far as the sewing. I did okay there, and I have a beautiful red topper on it, and I've got that pretty secure. And then I've got just a black and red buffalo check bow on the top, and I've tried to have it spread out a little bit so that it looks really, really pretty. But then I just took a Christmas sprig of greenery and berries, a couple of pine cones that I've put on there. Hope you can see that, yeah. And then on the back, in the background, I put a beautiful red ribbon that I just looped a few times so that I could put this on a hanger so it can hang as a Christmas ornament if they like. Now I put the loop in the very back because if they hang it up high you can see it, it'll be looking down. But I put it in the very back so that if they wanted to put it in a dough bowl, they could simply put the ribbon behind it, and it could go into any kind of container, you know, that they would like. So that's my first berry, my first topper. So D. Abrams, thank you for the idea of putting the little picks on the top. I think that looks really cute. I hope whoever gets it likes it. But I really like this berry. I may have to stitch it again, maybe in a year or so for myself because it's just really precious. I really like it. So there you have it. That's my exchange piece. I hope you like it. And now I'm going to get busy wrapping. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. It is Tuesday night, December the 6th, and I'm here to give you a stitching update for today. Well, I pulled out my Mirabilia Royal Games 1. I pulled this out because I am using it for the G in the 24 Hours of Cross Stitch Acrostic Gift Your Stitches. And so Games in Royal Games 1 is what I stitched it for. And today I stitched this bodice. Now you'll notice there are several empty places there for beads, of course. But I got 330 stitches in this piece today. And so since I got over 300 stitches, I knew it would meet another prompt. And what I did is I used it for my cookie cutter prompt. And I said I was using it for the cookie cutter in the shape of a heart. So I had to put a picture of the pattern in my post because it's not on here yet. I'm working my way up. So I'm to the point I think next time I will need to roll this so I can get to her neck and head, and then, you know, I will be ready to do the heart and the border after I do her neck and head, and of course that lovely poof of a collar up around her dress. But I'm loving it. I think it's turning out so well, and I will roll it on down, finish her, and then I'll roll it up and do the other queen, and then I'll do all the beading at the end. So that's where we are, 330 stitches, and her bodice, the stitching in her dress is almost complete until you get to the collar in the back. So I'm excited about that. I think it's lovely to get that far. I'm really, really happy to have met those two prompts with that. So it was a good stitching day. I'm going to take a breather now and go downstairs and either practice my music with my husband or watch a TV show or something, just to be together and take a break. But I am tickled to death that I met my prompt today. Hoping to do so tomorrow. I'll let you know how it goes. Anyway, happy stitching, everybody. I'll talk to you soon. Hey, baby. Come here. Oh, there you are, baby doll. That's my girl. Hey, good morning. Hey, sweet girl. Did you bubble? Did you have a little bubble? Yeah. Oh, good morning. Yeah. Hey. Have a good day today? Have a good day today? Yes, we are. Have a good day. Yeah. All right. why I'm so privileged you're up in my lap. That's unusual. Yes. It's unusual to get some loving. Good morning. Coco and I want to say hey to you. I have some stitching to share with you. And right now, she's wanting some attention. So this morning I decided to pull out one of my whips. There you go, baby. She's curled up now right here in my lap, or right in front of me anyway. I pulled out one of my whips that I needed for a prompt in my 24 hours across stitch. And this is Small Gift. And recently, one of the lovely people I've been conversing with through my video said she saw this the first time I showed it and thought, oh, I'd like to stitch that. And she withstood it. And then when I showed her this last time and I had her little face in there, she couldn't stand it. She paused the video, went and bought it. I think that's what attracted me to this piece as well, is that sweet, sweet face. But I had done the face and her collar, her little white, what looks like a muff or a, real fuzzy, thick collar. I had done that last time, and this time I needed to stitch at least 200 stitches because I was also going to use this for another prompt, which is for my cookie cutter prompt. And I decided that this cookie cutter pattern would be her present, her small gift that she had in her hands. So that cookie cutter would be a Christmas present cookie cutter. So this is where I got to, and I wound up stitching 238 stitches. And so I got the dark green on the underside of her arms, and I did that so it would position the present, and I actually got all the cross stitching done on her present. There's spaces there for snowflakes and for her hands, and then you'll back stitch the bow. So I did it, got 238 stitches this morning and met 2 prompts because this was one of my 24 hours of cross stitch letters as well, and it was actually for the G in Gift Your Stitches, and it stood for small gift. So that's great. So now I'm going to let you get back to what you were doing, and I'm going to start getting ready to practice my music. We have dress rehearsal tonight, and I've already been to a luncheon at the church with the women in my one of my groups that I'm in, a Bible study group there. So it's been a busy day. I haven't had much time to stitch. So I'm glad I got that done, and I'm hoping that I get a little bit more stitching time tomorrow. In the meantime, happy stitching. Hi everyone, welcome back. My name is Dina. It's December the 8th. It's Thursday, and I want to give you my stitching update before I have to leave to participate in our concert tonight. So this is what I worked on today. This is what I'm calling Welcoming Christmas. I'm not sure if that's the actual name of the design or not, but that's what's on the page. So that's what I'm calling it. This is from a magazine I had in my stash from way back when. I'll show you that it's For the Love of Cross Stitch. And you can see there, it's the January 1996 issue. But, oh, and you saw what the front looked like. I like that one too. I think that's pretty. Anyway, this is what I've been working on. And when I stopped on it last time, I had just started working on the lamb. And I got a little bit of the lamb's back stitched in and right up on the head, up under the tree. And so today, I actually put in 371 stitches into this. And I got the face done, his ear, his neck, and the rest of the white on the back. And so now I've got 2 more colors to put in for the wool on the little lamb and the 4 legs, and then I can backstitch everything but the bottom of his legs that's touching the cowl underneath it. But I'm thinking probably 1 or 2 more stitching sessions on the lamb, and then I'll be through with the lamb. So I will probably go ahead and backstitch next time the tree when I get started, and then roll all this up so that I've got room to finish the little lamb. But you want to know what prompts that meant? It meant 2 of them, 3 of them actually, because I did enough stitches to meet all 3. But the first one was the 24 hours of cross stitch, and it was for the C. Our acrostic is gift your stitches, and so the C in stitches I was using for Christmas, and this is welcoming Christmas, so it met that way. And then for my magazine monthly challenge, that is twinkle, and so the W in twinkle I use for welcoming Christmas for the first word in the title. And then for the other prompt, it was another cookie cutter, and I said I had stitched on this one, and that the cookie cutter is a rabbit cookie cutter, and I did that because you can't use a cookie cutter, a type of cookie cutter, more than once, and I figured I wouldn't have anything else I'm stitching on very much that I would be stitching a rabbit, because I can probably find the tree and the hat and things like that in other Christmas projects, and I gotta get 15 of them if I get to finish the whole thing. And so I thought rabbit would be the best one to do. And it was visible, so I don't have to take extra pictures of the pattern. If I had chosen the cow, I would have had to take a picture of the whole thing to show that there's actually a cow in there. So I got it. Worked out really well. 371 stitches later, I'm ready to put that away. And then I can jump on something else, hopefully in the morning. I had a wonderful morning. I got to talk to my sister Stephanie. I got to talk to my friend Glow and stitch with her. And then my husband and I took Coco for her physical today. And I'm really happy about that. And she did great. She was very good. She didn't give them any trouble when they had to give her immunizations and all that stuff. And they were very pleased with her, said she looks perfect. Of course, we think so too. But anyway, got that done. Glad to have that behind us. And that works out really well. So I have a quick funny story for you. Yesterday, I decided on my way home from a luncheon at church to stop and get a pedicure because I'm standing on my feet in this tree. Well, I've changed my mind, and I am going to sit down in a different section tonight. I've worked that out with my choir director. But I thought, well, I need to get a pedicure because I can feel that my toenails are too long, just digging. Because standing on them 2.5 hours, for practice, I could tell. So I went to my usual place because they had a coupon that I had where they stamp your card every time you go. And over the course of several months between me and my husband getting pedicures, I had enough stamps to get $5 off, So I went in there yesterday to get my pedicure and sat in the chair, and they were kind of not packed, but they were all busy. And the manager put me in a chair, and then she didn't turn the water on to fill up the bowl part. So I kept my feet up out of the bowl to kind of so people would notice I wasn't sitting there with my feet dangling in the bowl and them thinking I was soaking, because I wasn't. Well, the manager noticed it, and she came running back over there and she said, "I'm so sorry," and she turned the water on. Well, a few minutes later, she comes back when it's full, and the technician sitting next to me, doing the lady next to me, had actually reached over and turned the water off because it was going to overflow. The manager came over, and she dropped the little, it's a little tablet that they put in there that has a wonderful aroma, and I think it turns the water nice and blue, and it probably has softening agents or some sort of, bacteria killing or whatever. They have a reason for putting it in there because they do it every time. And she had forgotten to do that when she turned the water on, so she came right over there and dropped that in there. And without telling me, I figured out I was waiting because the lady who was next to me doing the pedicure next to me was going to be the one doing my pedicure. And I just had to wait for her to get through. It was about 15 or 20 minutes, but not terribly long, you know. And it's a drop-in. You don't have to have an appointment. So you kind of take what you get. And she pulled over in front of me, got all of her little tool tray and got everything set up, and she put out a towel and she tapped the towel for me to put my feet up there. And I pulled my feet up out of the water and I plopped them up there and I screamed. My feet were Smurf blue. Not kidding. Smurf blue. All the way up above my ankles. Looked like I had on blue socks. It was awful. It scared me to death. I just said, oh, please tell me that's going to come off. She got so tickled. Everybody in there started laughing. And I said, you know, really, seriously, tell me this is going to come off. And she said, it's going to come off. It's going to come off. She didn't do anything to get that off of my feet for the longest time. She did all the stuff you do. She trimmed everything. She did the cuticles, you know. She did everything you do before you start doing that sugar scrub or salt scrub or whichever one they're going to do. As soon as she started the scrub part, the blue came right off. I wish she had gone ahead and done that because I didn't enjoy that part of my pedicure. I was still worried about having blue feet. Oh, it was bad, y'all. It was really bad. Anyway, it was hysterically funny, and the whole place got a good laugh out of it. Including me at the end after the blue disappeared. I could laugh about it then. But I just think what happened is when she dropped that tablet in, normally they do it right when they turn the water on and it dissolves. And then you put your feet in the water. So that's been dispersed and, you know, you don't get it on your skin. And this time my feet were already in there. And so when it, you know, blew up or whatever it does to melt, it just went right into my skin or on my skin. It just coated me. It was funny. I came home and told my husband what happened. He said, oh, I wish I could have been there. He said, I would have loved to have seen your face. I don't hide my face well. I don't. If I'm upset about something or if I get surprised or excited, it shows. And so he said, that's probably why she was laughing, more so at your face than your feet. I said, I don't know. But I don't know if you've had funny stories like that, but it is a light moment in the day, and I have had fun telling a few of my friends about it, especially a couple that are real harried and rushed right now, getting ready for the Christmas season. And I said, you want just a quick laugh and at my expense, and they've gotten a big kick out of it. So I thought I'd share it with you. I hope that you are having a great week. I hope things are going along well and that you don't have blue feet. Happy stitching, everybody. Good afternoon, everyone. It's Friday, December the 9th, and I'm here to show you what I've been stitching today. I pulled out my Madame Lafie, and this translates into Snow and Mountains, and I decided to work on it for a prompt in my acrostic in my magazine monthly challenge group, and I was using it for the N in Twinkle, because the French name of this starts with an N. Neige Montaigne. Anyway, Marissa, forgive me because I don't remember how to say it correctly, but that was what the N stood for. And then in my daily 30 challenge, you know, I'm doing cookie cutters, and you just have to do 200 stitches on something that has an object in it that you would say would make a cookie cutter, and they don't have to be traditional either. But so far I've been able to find some that you actually might be able to see in a store. But this is my Neige at Montaigne, because what I did is I did all but one color in that middle window pane, finished up the whole border around that window pane so that I could move forward, and it was actually 297 stitches. And if it hadn't been that I had to get out of the house to meet an appointment, I would have finished the rest of that, so it was over 300 because I hated stopping at 297. but that's just where the color ended. And so I am counting this as a cookie cutter for a snowflake because it has a snowflake in the pattern and you can actually see it in my stitching. So I think that worked out really well. Isn't that fun? So I have something to share with you. I have an early birthday present. I have a dear friend named Glow. I talk about her often, saying we like to stitch together. And she had sent me a birthday present, and she sent me an email this morning saying, you can open your present whenever you want to. You can open it anytime. And I thought that's all I needed. So I want to show it to you. First, I want to show you the beautiful card that I got. This is too precious. Isn't that great? I love it. It says, it's designed and printed in the UK. It's called, company's name is Little Green Stitches. I'm going to have to research that, Glow, because I love those cards. Okay, then I had a little package and I had a larger package. So I opened the little package first. What did I see but precious needle minders? And you probably, if you've been watching FlossTube very long, you'll recognize the designer of these, or where Glow got these. They're from Denkai Designs. And I don't know if Denkai is doing FlossTube anymore. I'll have to research that, but she used to do it. But look at these. Aren't they precious? I love them. I told Glow, I said, now that I've opened them, I'm going to have to show them really quick so I can use them, put them into progress, into production today. Love them. And this one is very substantial, and I'm thinking it might, depending on how strong it is, it might actually hold my scissors, which would be funny because this one might be even cuter holding scissors, but we'll see. Anyway, I can't wait to play with those. But this is something that I have to share with you because in addition to getting this gift, I got some paperwork with it, and it was actually the design that my friend Glow put together because she created this herself and she charted it all herself, and she had her husband help her with some of the math, I think. But this is just an indication to me of someone who has really gotten to know me and just knows my heart. And it just, I can't even describe, you know, how much it touched my soul and how beautiful it's done. So this is my wall hanging for my birthday. And it says, Dina Hearts, you know, I love Tommy, JT, Coco, Stitching, Diet Coke, Whip Go family, Canasta, Ladybugs, Faith and Church, Christmas, and Home. Isn't that gorgeous? I love the colors. I love this pink polka dot. I love polka dot. I don't know if y'all know that about me, but I love polka dot. And I just think this is one of the prettiest things I've ever seen. It is just packed full of meaning, and it kind of brought to mind for me what it might have been like for some of these young girls who did their samplers, because they would put, you know, motifs in there that represented their home, their family, their pet, or their departed loved ones, and things like that that were so important to them, that meant so much to their heart. And I've never had a piece that was so, you know, personally designed for me, or that, you know, resonated like that with me and checked all the boxes. But let me tell you, this checks all the boxes. Anyway, Glow, thank you. Thank you so much. You know, to design something takes a lot of time. Even if you're just graphing, you know, a lot of it is wording. But look at all the different fonts. They're all different fonts. They're just gorgeous. And then to stitch it takes time, and then to fully finish it, as you know, that takes time and inspiration. And you got to be in the right frame of mind to do it, and she just does it beautifully. And so when my husband gets home from his run this morning, he's going to help me put this up in my stitching room where I can see it every single day. Because Glow also had stitched me a cocoa ornament a while back, and it is hanging right over here on my light stand right next to me. There's Coco. And she sits with me every day right here. I just hang her right on my light stand, and she stays right there with me all the time. So this one has to go up somewhere equally where I can see it, equally close. But I just had to share it with you. Thanks for letting me do that. So I will go ahead and let you get back to your stitching, whatever else you were doing, and I hope you're having a great day. We have our second performance tonight of our living Christmas tree, and I am thrilled to report that I moved. I was standing on a box that was about 11 inches tall, and it was a very small box, and I was having to stand so stiff to not step off of it and break an ankle that I talked to the choir director yesterday morning before we had our first performance, and I said, is there any way I could move to another place on the tree where I don't have to stand on a box? And the only place on the tree that you don't have to stand on a box because I'm so short is if I sit on the row where people are seated. The first row, he has them sit down so that the people above them can be seen over their heads. And so I asked, do you have a spot on that row? And he said, I do. So I got to sit down last night on that row, and I'm only one person further back than I was on the tree, so I'm happy to report I can see the conductor, our music director, so that I know when to come in and I'm not singing solos accidentally. Anyway, it worked out really well, and it was quite comfortable after having stood up for the 2.5 hours of practice and then again at dress rehearsal. My little feet were telling me that was too long, and I thought, gosh, to do that several nights in a row and twice on Sunday, I'm not sure I would have made it the whole way through. I wouldn't have been able to stand on my feet any longer. So he was very kind and understanding, and I moved, and I had a great, enjoyable time last night. So happy about that. If you're curious about what a living Christmas tree is, since I forget that people may not have ever seen one of those, it's a tree stand, like a rafter, that people climb up in, and we are the actual supposedly ornaments on the tree, and we sing live on that tree. And so once you get in that tree, you don't move. It's very narrow. I barely could get in it sideways. My husband, who's very thin, had a hard time getting in it. So it's not just because I have a little extra padding. It's very thin, and once you get in there, you can't turn at all. You can't stand sideways, and you can't easily move your arms. There's a wall there. But it gives a beautiful, beautiful visual, and we have lights that change and do all that. So if you are looking for something to watch that's Christmas, if you like Christmas music, especially if you like choral music with orchestra and all, it's just lovely. You can go on the website, and it will be there. And you can watch it. And my husband has a short solo in it, and I think he does a great job. Of course, I'm biased, but I still think he has a beautiful voice, and other people seem to as well. So that's a good thing. But I will put the website in my box below, in my description box. And so if you're looking for something to watch that's just Christmassy, puts you in the Christmas spirit, feel free to do that, and you can just let it play while you do something else. But I will tell you, there's a light show going on the whole time on the tree. The lights are changing and doing all kinds of things, and there's one scene of that they actually dramatically show, and that works out. It's really, really sweet. It's the manger scene, and there's a young girl in our church, a beautiful young woman, a newlywed, and she is playing the role of Mary. And there's another family in our church who had a premature baby a few months ago. The baby's 3 months old, and it looks like a newborn. It's just about the size of a newborn. And so that's the little baby playing Jesus is a real baby. And the first night we were practicing with everybody and the baby, that little girl, it is a girl, by the way. Spoiler alert. But it doesn't matter. That doesn't really matter for this dramatization. She was mad. She screamed bloody murder and really screamed like for a while. And the young girl, doesn't have children. She was obviously a little awkward and a little worried about what to do. And she was, rocking the baby and all this. And then when she started singing, that little girl got really still and really quiet and fell asleep. It was so precious. She didn't do it in the performance. She stayed awake. There was so much going on. She was watching. But it was just a really poignant moment, that the song was about sleep, little holy child, and the little girl went to sleep. It was so sweet, so precious. So anyway, I will not regale you with tales any further, but it's a worthy look if you enjoy choral music. So I will let you go back to your stitching. I'm going to get to mine, and we'll talk soon. Happy stitching.